Hello friends and fellow flute players. Today I'd like to share with you some tips on vibrato. When I started my flute journey in 2002, shortly thereafter I found myself frustrated by a couple of things. One of those things was writing songs, and the other one was vibrato. Where does it come from? How do I manipulate it? And when will it show up? So today I'd like to share with you a couple of tips on starting your vibrato work. Now, keep in mind, vibrato is not something that you just learn overnight and you've got it. Some of you, this may happen. Some of you, it will take, it may take the better part of a year or more to really hone in on your vibrato. For me, I quickly got vibrato in my first 5 years or so of playing the flute. I'd never played a woodwind instrument before. But thereafter, I felt like I had the same speed all the time. I wasn't really working much with vibrato to change the speed and dynamics of it. And that comes later, once you've established the foundation of your vibrato. And that's where I'd like to start today, is establishing that foundation for your vibrato. Now, we're not actually going to start with the flute. We'll get to that in just a minute. But before we do that, I want you to put your childhood hat back on, get your kid-like spirit going. And I want you to imagine a helicopter sitting in the middle of a field, okay? And pay attention to one of the props on the helicopter. And as it comes close to you, I want you to make the sound effects of this propeller, of what it would make when it comes by you. So I'm going to use my hand here, and every time that my finger comes close to me, I'm going to make that same sound. And that sound that we're shooting for is this. Now, you may have to take a break in between that. I feel like I'm running out of breath as I increase. I'm trying to be really loud with that. You don't have to be very loud. When you do this sound into the flute, you have more resistance, known as back pressure from the flute. Every flute will have a bit of difference in back pressure, but as you play through the flute, you're going to get some more back pressure, which will help you lengthen your breath. So now that we've worked with the woof, 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 woof sound, let's do that into the flute, not vocally, but just with the breath only. That's the start of your vibrato. Practice this on a daily basis and you'll get stronger and more efficient with your vibrato. When I mentioned earlier that I had worked with vibrato and it was kind of at I would say a normal speed, so something like this. How can I push faster? So for me, years after working with vibrato, I really started to manipulate the volume and vibrato, which I give workshops on periodically throughout the United States. So working with that volume and vibrato has led me to play more dynamically, with more life, with more passion, with more emotion in my playing. And you lend something like this. Now pay attention, because my vibrato is going to come from my diaphragm, but I'm going to move to my throat to use that to make that vibrato sound quicker. That comes from my throat area. And you can vary your vibrato and your volume to fade out, but have a high vibrato like I just did. So a lot of dynamics, a lot of options when it comes to working with those things. And that's how we emote music. So keep an eye on my calendar for workshops to appear near you. I have several coming up in 2019 and 20. And if you're watching this video past that, go to my website and look at other options for trainings, tutorials, workshops, and make sure you subscribe here on YouTube for the latest tips, tricks, tutorials, cover songs, original songs, sheet music, backing tracks, etc., etc. I really appreciate your support. I hope that this has been helpful for you, and stay tuned for more.